Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you guys how to unravel a sweater and some tips from what I learned unraveling some sweaters. So as you can see, this sweater is like kind of a velvety yarn, and it was pretty thin velvet yarn, so ideally this isn't the best material to use when you want to find material for or take apart a sweater for the yarn. But here I'm just showing you guys where you want to take apart this seam so that you can, so it'll come apart in pieces so that you have consistent yarn all the way through. And I am going to insert a picture here. So this is what you want to look for when buying a sweater. You want to make sure it has those kind of seams and opposed to these. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but from this picture those edges were serged. They have that kind of look at the top that they have been sewn. And usually whatever sweater you buy won't have an opposite color, like it will blend better, but you want to make sure whatever sweater you buy for unraveling, it's got like this edge that looks knit like the previous picture, because that is going to make your life so much easier and you're not going to get just random pieces that split apart every so often. And I will make sure to put credits for those pictures below, because those are some blogs I found that had some good pictures I used for reference for this video. So hopefully that helps you guys in case you're struggling trying to figure out what sweaters to purchase. So I struggled a lot with this sweater. I would not recommend buying the velvet ones, or polyester for that matter, because at least this thin of material, it actually, when I had some unraveled, it ended up, some of the threads kind of unwound from each other. I don't really know how, so it wasn't like just one consistent yarn. It kind of ended up, it had been splitting, and then I ended up with like two separate pieces that were supposed to be part of one, so it was almost coming apart. So this sweater in particular was very hard to unravel, and I wouldn't recommend using this, unraveling this type of sweater. I mainly wanted it for amigurumi because people use that velvety yarn, and I was like, oh, I could make mini amigurumis with this, but it was a very hard thing to unravel, and I haven't even finished it yet, and it was so hard getting the to get it apart, even getting yarn to unravel. So I am actually going to skip ahead here because I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me do all of this unraveling. But yeah, I'm also going to show you here a chain stitch. So I'm just unraveling a chain stitch now here on the cuff, and I will insert a picture here. So this is the part I'm seam ripping. That's what the threads ended up looking like, and I believe they should look similar on other sweaters, but I'm not entirely sure. But the stitches might just be smaller on like a knit, like a smaller knit sweater versus this one here that's velvet. But as you can see, it's slowly coming apart, and that's the exciting part, is when we get a consistent piece of yarn that unravels. I did have some struggles and other stuff with this sweater, so I am going to skip ahead. As you can see, there was lots of fuzzies. I'm going to skip ahead and go through the process, and then we'll be on to the other sweater, which I can show you guys better. So here, you guys, I wanted to show you guys what I meant by the yarn splitting as I was unraveling. I'm not sure, like, I think it was actually part of the same material that was splitting and not just two separate pieces of thread, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, now I'm going to finish this, speed this up, and then we'll get to the other sweater. So this was another sweater I picked from the thrift store. It's a cotton sweater and it had an emblem on it. So I figured I could work around that and salvage the yarn to use for knitting or crochet projects. So this one had some, I think it was like elastic thread in it, so the bottom was kind of elasticated. And so I started by picking out the same kind of seam, which I have that picture that was inserted so you guys can tell where I am picking. And you want to go kind of in between there. There should be like two, like, I don't know what you call it, like threads, or a few threads that are together that are kind of a horizontal line that you kind of want to go at. I ended up seam ripping the wrong section, or like wrong area at some point, so I did end up with a bunch of like short strands, but if you do it correctly you should be able to get one long continuous strand of yarn. That was my bad for being semi-impatient with this, and ended up cutting off some parts as I had watched a video and thought I knew what I was doing, but I didn't. So I hope this video kind of gives you a little insight in hopefully doing this, and I just want to let you guys know that this takes a lot of patience. So just expect that it takes a lot of patience and a lot of time. I haven't even finished any of the sweaters, unraveling them, because it was just such a long process. So I've circled a spot here where you want to seam rip the stitches for the seam, so you can seam rip each piece of your sweater. And I'm basically doing the same seam ripping as at the start. Same kind of seams. You want to make sure they look knit, which usually will be about 2 V's connected together. I think kind of going in opposite directions, and that's why I inserted that picture before for easy reference. Hopefully that helps you guys a little bit. This one had, the edging of it was pretty difficult. I think that's what I was struggling with, was trying to unravel it. So I'm actually going to speed this ahead, and then if I get to a section that I want to talk about, I'll let you guys know. This one mainly, this was like the connection of a few different pieces, so I had to figure out where I was kind of seam ripping. But this was also just horizontal stitches. I think I was trying to see if this would become one continuous strand, but it was kind of getting knotted with the other yarn. So yeah, that's the part that's a little bit difficult, but if you flip it a certain way, you should be able to find where your stitches are, and if you stretch it out a little bit, then you should be able to find
the threads and stuff. Some of these yarn strands, I believe, were just used to knit the sweater together, like the pieces, so that's why they might become long strands. I actually struggled with I believe it was the edging, and so I ended up cutting a part of the edging off. Do not cut any part unless you're absolutely sure that it's gonna still be a continuous strand, because I ended up with a lot of pieces that were very they were just piles of strands, as you can see here, and it was not ideal. So definitely, if you can, don't cut anything, because that, I believe, is what caused me the most problems. Try to be patient and seam rip as much as you can before going and cutting anything. And because that is why I believe a lot of my pile of yarn was just strands, was because I cut a portion because I was struggling unraveling it. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this little time lapse of me untangling yarn. And this definitely isn't as fast as it looks. It's definitely more like, I want to say 2 or 3 hours, I believe, of just unraveling, and I'm not even done yet. So yeah, enjoy, and thank you guys for watching.
Welcome to my channel. My name is Nan. I make lots of different types of videos. I struggle with just talking to one so I like to do multiple publishing paths and often jump from one to another. I could possibly just make one publication, but I'm not really sure. Just from the start of it, if you're wondering why wanted to or something yarns and decided to some modern crochet clothing, because people have cotton for as milk for making clothing. It's expensive. I didn't feel super bad about putting this out because they're usually So I had a bunch of yarn that was just a pile of strands, but I wanted to show you guys what I did get from the sweater so far. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. And if you guys have any video suggestions, please put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.